Coming up, it's another week in the NFL and another chance to win $100,000. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Jason Mattis with Winning Bets. Thanks for hanging out with me on this episode. That's right, it's week 14 in the NFL, and our friends over on the Fox Bet 6 app is giving away another $100,000 if you can correctly predict 6 NFL games. You've got to get the winner and the win margin right for all 6 of those games. That's how you'll earn the 30 points, because you get 3 points if you get the right winner and 2 points if you get the right margin. So that's 5 points a game, 6 points or 6 games. That's 30 total points. If you can do that, you'll take home $100,000. Otherwise, if nobody can do it, we'll all compete for a guaranteed $1,000 prize that'll be split amongst the group of people that can get the most points. Last week we did all right. We got 12 points, which is 4 winners. We didn't get any of those win margins right. As always, we're right there, razor thin on a couple of those win margins. Go just a little bit different, like that Bears-Lions game, for example. We were right there next to it. We just didn't quite get it. The 2 games that we missed Washington over the Steelers, and we missed Giants over the Seahawks like a lot of other people did. But again, like I said, we got 4 games right. Obviously not good enough. We'll like to obviously improve. I'll go ahead and hit you guys with all the data like I do. I included in the information this week the team's record against the over, just so you guys would have it, in case you guys do want to place any real bets. And when I'm scraping my database, getting the information for against the spread, it's just as easy for me to also scrape the over data. So went ahead and pulled that for you. So let's jump on into it and see how we'll answer the 6 games this week. First game they give us here is Cowboys and the Bengals. The line is currently right now Cowboys minus 3.5. The Cowboys on the season so far are 2-10 against the spread. That is absolutely terrible. They're 7-5 on the overs. On the road, they're 3-3 against the spread and 3-3 on the over. And as road favorites, they're 0-5 against the spread, but the over has hit 4-1. The Bengals in 2020, they're 7-5 against the spread, 6-6 overall, or 6-6 on the over cashing. The Bengals have only been favored 1 time this entire season. That was against the Jaguars, and they won that game. So as dogs, though, they're 6-5 against the spread and 5-6 on cashing the over. Against the spread, they're 3-1 as home dogs and 2-2 on cashing the over. So what does that all mean? Well, what that all means is that the Bengals are likely to cover and that the over is probably going to cash in this game. If we break down these teams, though, the Cowboys continue to struggle to stop the run. They're in the bottom of the league on stopping the run. They got exposed again Tuesday night against the Ravens. A lot of teams do, but that wasn't just like a one-off there against what the Ravens did. Every team is running all day against this Cowboys defense. And this is a game where maybe the Bengals don't run it all that well themselves, but this is a game where offensive linemen get excited. They love it. They see the stats. They see that they have a defensive line across them that struggles to stop the run, so they'll look to explode off the snap, really knock them in the mouth, and the Bengals will look to establish that run. It all comes down to the quarterback play of the Bengals. How well do the quarterbacks, Brandon Allen or Ryan Finley, gets into this game? How well do they play? That's what it's going to come down to either can they pull off the upset or how close can they keep it. I think the running game will obviously keep them in the game regardless because of how the struggles there on that Cowboys defensive line. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and say the Cowboys win the game, but it'll only be by 1 to 3 points. You got a team that can't cover the spread in the Cowboys. You got a team that can't stop the run, so I like a nice, good, close game. But I do give the edge there to Andy Dalton coming back home, coming with and getting the win there. So give me the Cowboys 1 to 3 there. Next one we got here is Cardinals and Giants. Cardinals are currently favored by minus 2.5. The Cardinals on the season are 5-7 against the spread and 4-8 cash in the over. On the road, they're 3-3 against the spread and they're 0-6 on cash in the over on the road. As road favorites, they're 1-2 against the spread and the over is never cashed. The Giants in 2020 are 8-4 against the spread. They're 3-8-1 on cash in the over. At home, they're 2-3 against the spread, and they're 2-3 on cash in the over. As home dogs, they're 2-2 against the spread and 2-2 on cash in the over. So what does that all mean? It means the Giants have a better chance at covering the spread, and you have a real good chance of the under cashing in this game. If we break down these two teams, it really comes down to, am I drinking the Kool-Aid that the Giants are putting out? I mean, the Giants had a real nice win last weekend on the road in Seattle. Is this a real team? Is this a real team that's actually going to go out there and win them the NFC East? We've talked about that defense. That defense is good. You don't have to have any question marks on that defensive side of the ball. Defense is legit. Colt McCoy looked like he did what was asked of him. Just manage the game. Don't lose the game for us, and we can probably come out and beat Seattle because we've got a good defense. So they certainly have the right game plan to continue doing that going forward. So that's what it comes down to. Am I drinking the Kool-Aid? As for the Cardinals, we predicted the Rams to beat the Cardinals, so not a big surprise there. They're 6-6. The Cardinals have that name recognition. They have the star power there with Hopkins and Kyler Murray, but they're only 6-6. They're not really that good of a team. Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and drink the Kool-Aid. I will go ahead and drink some Kool-Aid, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Giants to win. I was really impressive with that game plan. There's no reason why they can't repeat that with that really stout defense that they have. And Colt McCoy, he's been around. He's a super veteran. He can just not screw up, and that's what they're going to ask him to do again, I think, this week. So go ahead and give me Giants win the game by 4-6. All right, the next matchup here is Vikings and the Buccaneers. The line is currently Buccaneers -6.5. The Vikings on the season are 6-6 against the spread, and the over is cashed 8-3-1. On the road, the Vikings are 4-1 against the spread, with the over cashing 2-3. As road dogs, they're covering the spread really well, 3-1 against the spread, 2-2 on the over. The Buccaneers in 2020 are 6-6 against the spread. The over is cashed 7 of the 12 times. At home, they're 3-3 against the spread, with the over at 3-3. And as home favorites, they're 1-3 against the spread, with the overs cashed 3 out of 4 times. So what does this mean? This means the Vikings have a better chance of covering the spread, and the over is likely definitely hit in this game. If we break down these two teams, the Buccaneers are coming off a bye. That's almost enough said to me. I already like the Buccaneers exclusively in this game. Better offense, better defense. Now they're coming off a bye, had an extra chance to scheme against this team. We saw the Vikings struggle with the Jaguars team. We'll get to the Jaguars later on because they're in this game. And while the Jaguars do keep it close, the Vikings got to handle that game a lot better at home. As they want to, march towards the playoffs. They should have done a better job, I feel like. So the Vikings have weaknesses. That's not really good thing to have when you're going up against a good Buccaneers defense and a good Buccaneers offense. Not an explosive offense, but a good offense. I think one that'll have their way more times than not against this team. And again, they're coming off a bye, which I really like. So go ahead and give me Buccaneers win the game by 10 to 14 points. Next one we got here is Chiefs and the Dolphins. The line is currently right now Chiefs -7. The Chiefs on the year are 6-6 against the spread, and the over is cashed 5 out of 12 times. On the road, they're 3-3 against the spread, with the over cashing 2 of 6 times. And as road favorites against the spread, they're 2-3, with the over again cashing 2 of 5 times. The 2020 Dolphins are 9-3 against the spread. The over is only cashed 4 of 12 times. At home, they're 5-1 against the spread, with the over cashing 2 of 6 times. And as home dogs, they're 2-1 against the spread, with the over cashing just once out of 3 times. What does this mean? That means that the Dolphins are likely to cover the spread in this game, and the under is probably going to cash in this game as well. If we go ahead and break down these two teams, look, the Chiefs had their wake-up call, so to speak, last week. That Broncos team, everybody predicted the Chiefs to win, but people were predicting Chiefs to win by 7 points, 10 points, 14 points. Even some people had 20 points, even like myself. So, they got their wake-up call, but what are they going to do now against a Dolphins team? This Dolphins team is absolutely legit. I mean, they're going to be marching towards the playoffs, it seems, certainly. So if they struggle that much against the Broncos, yeah, maybe that's their wake-up call, and now they'll bring a better performance. But you're coming up against a much better team on both sides of the ball. What team that'll give the Chiefs problem? They can throw it well. They've got Gesicki there. They've got Devin Parker. Defensive-wise, they've got a nice defensive front seven there that should be able to, keep the Chiefs relatively in check. So I do see the Chiefs winning this game, but it's not going to be by much. I've only got the Chiefs winning this game by 4-6, and almost not going to be too surprised if the Dolphins actually come away with the win there. The Dolphins have really been impressive up under Brian Flores, but I do see the Chiefs winning the game, but it will be another close game at 4-6. Next one we got here is Titans-Jaguars. The line is currently right now Titans -7.5. Titans on the year are 5-7 against the spread, with the over cashing 9 of 11 times. On the road, they're 2-3 against the spread. The over is cashed 4 of 5 times. And as road favorites, they've never covered the spread this year, 0-3, with the over is cashed 2 out of 3 times. The 2020 Jags are 6-6 against the spread. They're 6-5-1 on cashing the over. At home, they're 3-3 against the spread, with the over also 3-3. And as home dogs, they're 3-2 against the spread, with the over also 3-2. I went ahead and look at head coaches. A lot of these matchups before this one haven't had division rivals and also coaches that have been, in their seat for a majority of the time. So I went ahead and looked at the spread and the over since Mike Vrabel has been the head coach since 2018. So the Titans are 3-2 against the spread and 3-2 on the over. And on the road, they're 1-1 against the spread and the 0-1 as road favorites. So what does that mean? It means that the Jaguars are probably likely to cover and that the over has a real good chance of hitting this game. I do think the Jaguars, when I talk about them likely to cover, I actually think they can keep this game close. They've been, record-wise, obviously they're terrible and, they're in the running there for the #1 overall pick, but they're keeping games relatively close. They've been competitive. Just look at the Packers, look at the Vikings most recently. They're doing a good job. This Titans team, I like them on the bounce back. I do see them coming right back and getting a win immediately. It's against a team that obviously they're familiar with. So I'm going to lean Titans winning the game, but I'm going to go that the Jaguars can keep it close. The spread is at 7.5, so I'm going to go 7-9. Titans will win the game by 7-9. And then the last game here, we've got Saints and Eagles. The line currently right now is Saints -7. On the year, the Saints are 7-5 against the spread, with the over also 7-5. But the big difference here is with Taysom Hill. They're 3-0 covering the spread with Taysom Hill, but the over has never cashed with Taysom Hill. In the 2020 Eagles, they're 4-8 against the spread and also 4-8 cashing the over. 3-3 against the spread at home and 2-4 on the over at home. As home dogs are 2-0 against the spread and the over is cashed 1 out of 2 times. So what does this mean? It means the Saints are probably going to cover. And especially if you add in the fact of Taysom Hill, that even gives them more of a chance to go ahead and cover. And then the under is probably going to cash in this game, especially once you factor in the Taysom Hill aspect too as well. If we go ahead and break down this game, I know the Eagles got a spark when Jalen Hurts came into the game last week. It's easier to get a spark mid-game than as opposed to getting a spark in this setting where it's been now a whole entire week off. Guys have been doing their normal week routine. Much easier to get a spark in game than it is at the start of a game. So I'm not thinking that the Eagles will get that kind of lift that they got last week against the Packers. Meanwhile, the Saints just keep rolling. Just absolutely keep rolling with a top defensive unit in the league. Taysom Hill has come in, obviously added a complete different dynamic to that offense. He's throwing the ball really well. Now he's got a passing touchdown up under his belt. He can obviously run the ball, put that strain on that defense. So I like the Saints in this game, and I like the Saints big in this game. I'm going Saints win the game by 10-14. And that's how I'm going to round out my chances to win $100,000 on NFL Week 14 on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Go ahead and like this video, guys. Share it with your friends. Let me know what you're thinking as well. Hopefully, I've been of help to you guys. Don't also forget, I got a chance to win $50,000 on a Premier League Pick'em contest on the NBC Sports Predictor app, where we got 32 points last week. We corrected all 5 matches, the results right, so we're really doing good in that competition. So make sure you check that video and get your picks in for that one as well. Otherwise, guys, good luck on your picks as always, and I'll see you next week for the Week 15 contest. I'm Jason Mattis. Thanks for watching this episode of Winning Bets. I'm Jason Mattis. I'll see you again when we are celebrating the wins and making more winning bets. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more winning bets.